Then they're back working. I drove by there and checked some. Yeah, so.
I was surprised when I heard that. Chip, 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 chip.
Yeah, really.
I'm gonna drive over and see what's going on.
Yeah, they, unfortunately, gotta clean up some concrete before they can start drilling in acres and stuff again.
He thought by Wednesday, they'll have forms ready to start putting forms on.
Oh, ready to start putting pumps on, I got you. Cause I say they still gotta drill acres and stuff yet.
And I thought by Wednesday,
Glad
they'll be able to start, so forms.
I talked to Pedro on that.
All right, it is 5:30 on August 19th, 2024. This is the City Commission. Could we have the roll call, please?
Smith.
Here.
Weinreich.
Here.
Bragg.
Here.
Harvey.
Here.
Mayor Robish.
Present. You all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll consider the approval of the agenda. Anybody have anything they need to add? Or
A motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
motion in second? A roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. Brings us up to public forum. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and address for the record. Anyone in the audience for a public forum?
I think we don't have that on the agenda, so.
Oh, that's all right.
Gail Portman.
Solid waste?
Dale Ford,
Superintendent.
Solid Waste Department. Our citywide cleanups we've had for, well, about the last 5 weeks, actually. We had 4 different locations for 4 weeks. So we did noon to 4 and then 4 to 8. On average, the noon to 4, we averaged about 25 loads on those locations. The 4 to 8, it was 40 loads at those different locations. Would like to thank all the employees that helped with the cleanup, with the equipment and employees that came. The 4 weeks for the solid waste department itself, we ended up with 20 loads per week coming out there with the utility bill multiple times. Northwestern helped out with the day of carrying. They had 41 different locations. They picked up 8,000 pounds of rubble, 1,700 pounds of metal, and 2,400 pounds of trees during the day of carrying. Over the past 3 years, the average with utility bills out there for the average for year is 41 tons of rubble that comes out on average. We usually average about 2,500 participants that come out with that utility bill. This year we're set pretty close. It's right now sitting at 1,300 for participants so far year to date. I gave you kind of the totals for each of the locations and stuff also. So,
Is it 91 tons?
91 tons is what we average just in rubble, out at the rubble site with the utility bills, not counting what we do on the cleanups too, so.
Sure.
Almost 4 semi-loads.
Good, good. We're gonna get her cleaned up here yet one of these days. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else in the, if not, I think Commissioner Harvey has something he'd like to share?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would just like to give an update on the Dakota Avenue project. Tuesday, tomorrow, August 20th, the closure of Dakota Avenue will go and extend south through 7th Street intersection. The closure will be from Market through 7th Street intersection, so that whole section will be closed. 4th Street will be allowing east and west traffic through there still. It looks like they are setting some cement forms over here, so it's looking very promising that we're gonna get there. The detour will just be in effect on Kansas Avenue southeast from Market Street all the way to 9th Street now instead of 7th. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to give us a call. but that's the plan right now, and things are moving along. It's looking really nice, down by Market Street right now.
Good, thank you for that reminder.
Mayor, if I may,
Sure thing.
just a point of clarification on that, Sean, is Third, Market and Dakota will still be an open intersection? for
Market
through
in
traffic?
Dakota will be open, yes,
Oh.
correct, yep.
Good. All right. Anyone else for public forum? Okay. Consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. And tonight our consent agenda consists of 4.1 minutes of August 12, 2024, 4.2 fuel quotes for city departments, 4.3 a raffle from the Huron Area Quilt Guild, 4.4 payment of the bills.
Move to approve consent.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. Brings us to our bid quote items. 5.1, consider pay request number 2 from HK Solutions for sewer main lining in the amount of $19,546.36. And we have with us tonight our city engineer, Brett Runge.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just progress payment on the construction that's been going. Basically, this is actually for stored materials that we've been able to confirm that is either on site or located in the project vicinity. So we recommend approval of payment.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions for the engineer? Roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. 5.2, consider pay request number 2 from Manning Excavating for the water main replacement in the amount of $152,061.36. That's pretty popular pennies there.
All right, Mayor, this is just another progress payment for the ongoing water main replacement project that's started and been going on for a couple months here now. Again, we recommend approval of this pay request.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. 5.3, consider change order number 2 for the 2024-01 Dakota Avenue improvements.
All right, Mayor, this is one that's not as fun. It's a change order for more money. So on the Dakota Avenue improvements project, and we know that there's gonna be changes on this. We're working in the downtown area of Huron that's very, very old, and there's just, we don't have real great records on what was there. I mean, so what we ended up running into is at 2nd Street and Dakota Avenue, we ended up, a sanitary sewer manhole needed to be replaced in the end that was originally part of it. So that's adding this in there. There was also a large junction box for the storm sewer that was unknown, and that concrete had to be removed as part of that. So that's the cost that we're looking at here for construction change order on those. Just a couple of unforeseen items that came up as they were working through this.
There'll
We
be
recommend
more.
approval.
There'll be more.
There will be more, unfortunately, yeah.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and said, any questions for Brett on this? Roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. Moving on to petitions and communications. 6.1, consider plat approval filed by Rebecca Spalding Freeman, Deborah Spalding Lincoln, Matthew Gregg Spalding, and Theodore Mark Spalding. City Planner Barry Cranston, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a plat that there's going, as you'll see in the upcoming plat, that this is basically outlot 2. It separates a parcel of the land that would be going from the Freeman family then to Sarah Freeman Rubish coming up. So it allows for the purchase and the transfer of that parcel of ground.
Okay. we'll do this one first,
Yep, yep.
so we'll need a motion.
I move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
moved and seconded. Any questions? Save them for the next one. So roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. 6.2, consider plat approval filed by Jason and Sarah Rubish.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This plat actually replats outlots 1 and 2, and it creates a replat of outlots 1 and 2, and it plats them into outlot 3, and joins the previous parcel into the Rubish's farmstead out there. And so with that, we'd recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Now, are there any questions for the city planner? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. Moving on to departmental items. 8.1, consider agreement with South Dakota State Fair for the use of equipment owned by the city of Huron to aid in removing and transporting garbage during the South Dakota State Fair and authorize the mayor to sign. We have our solid waste superintendent with us again, Dale Fortin. You wanna enlighten us on this?
This is something that we've been doing for the last few years. It just relieves us of all the insurance issues if some damage happens on the fairgrounds. So they use an employee that they have contracted, and actually it's one of mine, that they contract, and then their insurance covers it and everything, and then the truck is also covered by the state insurance. We do everything outside of the fair, so they're just doing the collections inside, which is pretty chaotic for us to try and drive in there, so we allow them to do it.
Good, good.
And it's been working great for us,
Yeah.
like I said, for several years.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna make a motion to approve.
Just have a question after.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and Commissioner Wainwright
Yeah,
has a
I
question.
just had noticed, the agenda says authorize the mayor to sign it, but it actually asks for Dale's signature on the last page. Not sure who needs to sign it, but can you just clarify that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually we have 2 lines, but that's fine.
I think last year we had to just draw it in.
Maybe let the fair know for next time.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. 8.2, consider agreement with the Department of Transportation Office of Air, Rail, and Transit for project number 3-46-0022-44-2024 for the planning and development of public use airports which AIP funding may be used at Huron Regional Airport, and authorize the mayor to sign. Commissioner Bragg, would you wanna enlighten us on this one?
I'll do my best, Paul, and fix it if I mess it up. So I believe this is for phase 2. We're currently under construction on phase 1 of the taxiway B expansion. Phase 2, if approved, would be paid primarily through federal funds. This document just spells out that there would also be some portion paid by state funds as well. The way these work typically is usually we don't get them the first year we apply. We never know for sure, but we're just putting it in place that if we can get a hold of a bunch of federal money, we'd be happy to take it. But this may not get approved ever, or if it does, it might take a couple of years until the amount of available money is there to do it. But phase 2 would then take taxiway B all the way to the end, so it would complete all of that taxiway all the way up to the turnaround to match the length of the runway. Pauline, did I mess it up?
Oh, pretty good.
You did good, and you can even draw it. That's a good job, Rich. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion. Is that in a form of a motion?
Sure.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. 8.3, consider approval of dues for Dakota Mainstream Water System membership to remain a member in the amount of $2,115.42. City Engineer Brett Runge.
Okay, Mayor, so Dakota Mainstem Regional Water System is in the early stages of what it could be. Lewis and Clark rural water system, for instance, started in this same kind of area, right? Dakota Main Stem, basically what it is, the idea is to provide additional water to various systems across the eastern part of the state here, the lower eastern part of the state here. That could be regional rural water systems, that could be cities, just wherever they need the water. They're looking at a way to provide additional water to those systems. And earlier this year, we agreed or approved a resolution to be part of that board and be part of that system right now. So we kind of have a seat at the table right now while they're doing the planning stages. Like in any type of rural water situation, if you aren't part of it at the forefront when they do their studies and get their funding, your system isn't included, or your numbers aren't included in that, and then it's not a given that you're gonna be able to connect later, or it may be very costly or more costly to add on later. And that's how this funding usually works, especially when you're looking at money through USDA grants and different things like that. They don't size it to oversize it, they size it to what they need.
Right.
And that's why we find it important to be part of the initial discussions and planning stage. They're in that right now in the planning stage. They actually received a $1 million grant through the South Dakota, state of South Dakota surface water grant system there. And to leverage that grant, it's an 80-20, and they have $250,000 that they need to spend of their own money. And so where they're looking at developing that money is basically through fees of members. And we talked about that at the time when we joined it, we weren't necessarily being charged fees at that time, but we knew it was likely coming. And that's based on our system size. And this thing, to give you an idea of how it stretches, it stretches from Huron all the way to Sioux Falls as members. And Brookings is included and incorporated into it, Madison, Mitchell, all these communities there. So our full membership fee would be around $6,345, but since part of the year is already through, they're looking at just doing the last third. So the membership, or the fee for the remaining third of the year, they're looking at is this $2,115.42. Next year, we would be paying the full fee. We recommend that we pay this at this time and keep involved in the discussions. There's a lot of unknowns right now. Does this look like a new treatment plant, maybe on the Missouri River that pipes water across the state? Maybe. Is it where they connect to various rural water systems now and share water resources or something, right? There's a lot of different concepts that are in play, and that's part of what the study's gonna be, and they're actually under contract with a consultant now to do that study and research that. So, you know, our water could be channeled through Mid-Dakota, but we don't know that, and I don't really think we want to basically back off and just say that that's the only way we're gonna want to get this water is through that. We wanna keep our options open. So we recommend, that was a long discussion, but I know there's a lot of gray area here on this Dakota Main Stem and maybe some questions. So but we recommend paying the fee and continuing to be part of it.
Okay. Okay,
Move to approve.
Second.
motion and a second. Any questions for Brett? Yes, sir.
Just a couple clarifications then, Brett. So what I'm understanding is that this is a cooperative effort with the districts, basically from, say, Highway 14 to state line?
Yeah, well, basically from the
That-
Missouri River to the Minnesota state line.
Right.
And then from Highway 14 to the Nebraska state line, yes.
Right. And the members are all municipalities and forms of government?
Not all, there's rural water systems are also members.
Yeah, okay.
So, but yes, they'd be water systems, existing water systems.
And to date, do they have 100% support on that from all the entities?
Support of the dues?
As far as being dues?
Yes, that was just approved, it was held off to this point, but it was just approved at the last board meeting.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're opting into this now, this pays us through this fiscal year, and then it says 2025 fiscal year begins October 1st of '24. Do we expect it'll be another 6,000 next year we're gonna be paying then, and how long, until this project gets figured out, or how long do we keep paying dues in this thing?
I think so yes, the answer would be yes, it would be another $6,345, come that timeframe. Our recommendation is yes, to continue to pay dues for the short term. We'll continue to monitor where this goes, at least until we get the study back and what they're looking at, and we kinda have an idea of, if they say that the best way, you know, that study produces results that, you know, our best way to get the water is through Mid-Dakota, then maybe we back off and we let Mid-Dakota represent us, for instance, right? But likely they're gonna back charge us anyways for their dues part of this, because it's based on, connections, the dues are. So, the way it's actually set up, our user fees are actually more than Mid-Dakota by themselves, because we have more connections, so.
So, but, you know, you said that other projects have been like this. I mean, should we expect to pay for another 1 year, 2 year, 3 years? Like, what's been the track record? I know everyone's different, but
Mhm.
just based on past history.
Well, like Lewis and Clark took 20 years to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a long time.
Basically, so, and, you know, if you were part of it from the get-go, you were included in the design, you got your water first. If you were not, you didn't know if you were gonna get water, and you probably had to wait another 10 years beyond that, and with additional cost and less grant money to pay for the system to provide you. So, yes, we would recommend that we continue to be part of it and part of the initial planning stages until we see that maybe it's maybe not the best option for us at this point. We don't really know that yet. They just are looking at this study for now, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it could be a while down the road, but yeah, good.
And I talked to him like, you know, do we expect to pay this for the next 20 years? And the answer to that question is not a yes for sure. We know we need to provide, like on these grants, like if they're 80/20, we need to provide a certain level of you know, our side of that grant, right, the shared portion. But as we move down, we may find different ways to create revenue where that does, you know, you don't have to have the user fees. So, and there's different options for that, but right now, nothing like that has been realized, so. They've received small, stipends from like James River Water Development District and different things like that to also help offset some cost and get going, but, there's just, now that it's an organization, there's general administrative cost. There's a full-time, manager right now that's managing, the work that's occurring. There will likely be, when it comes to, you know, legislative sessions, there'll be political, costs there, you know, there'll obviously be, travel costs and expenses there and stuff like that to try to push and promote the idea, so.
Is the idea to make this basically a consortium of all the rural water development corporations come together as one unit for this area?
That could be possible, I mean, as in, it could be looked at, but that's not where they're basically, determined to go at this point. It could be that it becomes its own wholesale water system, where it treats, you know, they pull water from wherever source, which would likely be like the Missouri River, and have their own, distribution line, and sell the water wholesale to its members.
Are we then going to be a participant, and obviously we're a participant in research and development
Yeah.
of the program?
You're looking at, we'd be a participant in the construction costs, probably is what you're asking. If I understand right, and at that point, yes, we would have to decide, you know, we would have our share of those costs based on our water requirements, right, and what it costs to get it to us. And then that would be a decision we would have to make at that point, is if we were gonna participate in those construction costs or not. And we'd likely have some sort of share. We would not be able to, I don't believe this gets off the ground without, government funding, right? It's just too big of a project, but
anticipate then the return on that would be lower water costs for the citizens?
Yes, yes, yep.
I mean, I guess what I'm searching for here a little bit is what is the return back to the city on
Yep.
being part of that?
It'd be lower water cost, and that's when we're looking at our share of the cost too, right? Like, they're gonna have to size the system for total water needed, let's say. And if we're only looking for supplemental water, cause we're already determined that we're taking this from our wells, and then we're can continue our relationship with Mid-Dakota, then what does that look like for the supplemental water that we need moving down the road, right? And so that's one way that you know, it'd probably be looked at, and after this study is done and they start to look at more user requirements, those fees might adjust too, and not be based so much on connections and more on how much water are you looking for.
Consumption.
Yep.
Well, and to your point initially, Brett, when you talked about it, it would probably bring stability based on the size of the development group.
Mhm. Yep. And so where we're at now, and we've closely been monitoring water usage, and we have a capacity about 5.8 million gallons per day. And the last few years, our peak has been around that 5.4, so we're not far off from that. I mean, it's a concern or a thought in the background. Mid-Dakota has honestly been talking to us in the past about securing more water from them while they have it. But at this particular point, it's not even, they don't necessarily even have the means to get it to us fully. They've done improvements to get there, but I don't believe those are all up and going yet. But they are looking at ways to get more water to us. But yeah, we haven't basically committed to more water with Mid-Dakota yet, just because the sooner we do that, the sooner we have to pay that demand charge, whether we use it or not. So, which equates, that demand charge is spread through the users and equates to higher water rates. The other side of that is if we don't get more water from Mid-Dakota or from this, and we expand our well system and our treatment plant, there's construction costs there that'll increase rates.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the explanation. Anybody else? Okay, let's see,
We have roll call.
roll call vote.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. All right, 8.4, announce solid waste holiday hours. You want the boss to do it, or you want the boss to do it?